Goals are incredibly important despite what anybody else might tell you, and here's why. So there was a Harvard Business School, they'd done a study. They took a class of business students and they asked the class who had goals written down, who had goals in their head, and who had no goals whatsoever, weren't even thinking that far ahead, just turning up every day and studying. Okay, so years later they checked in on the class to find out the results. So first of all, there's 83% of the class had no goals whatsoever, like most people. There was 14% of the class had goals in their head. They didn't have them written down, but they had an idea of what they wanted. And that left 3%, of which had goals in their head and they wrote them down. Okay, so they recorded their goals, they wrote them down, not just in their mind, put pen to paper. And the results were quite astonishing. So years later, they checked in on these people, see how successful they were doing with their goals, or how they get on in life and business. Don't forget they were business students. So they checked in on them, and the 83% that had no goals, some of them done okay, some of them didn't. But the interesting thing is the 14%, the ones that had goals in their mind, they outperformed them, the 83%, by 10 times. They did 10 times better just by having goals in their mind, an idea of what they wanted. Okay? What's even more incredible than that, the 3% outperformed the 14%. So the 3% not only had goals in their mind, they wrote them down. They outperformed the 14% 3 times as much, which means that they outperformed the ones that had no goals whatsoever 30 times. 30x results. And that's just mind-blowing. So it's good to have goals in your head, but write them down. Write them down in detail, record them. That hardwires it into your brain, so your mind can act visually as well. We're quite visual learners. That's why we're all addicted to social media. We like to see things, like to look at things, and that gets impressed into our subconscious. Our subconscious tries to give us what we want. It helps us look for the things that'll make that happen. Okay, that's a business study. What's it got to do with sport or any other areas of life? Well, if you think about Michael Phelps, he's the most decorated Olympian in the history of the Olympics, as far as I know up to this date. Okay, Olympic swimmer, won tons of medals. Okay, over, I think it was 4 Olympics. Unprecedented. He, even when he was a young athlete, before he even got to his first Olympics, he still got copies of the goals that he'd written down, which just goes to prove the business study is correct. So he wrote down what he wanted to achieve in the Olympics, and not only writing down the end result, a plan of how to get there. Write down the plan of how to get there. Write down a strategy. If you have a mentor, or if you want to copy someone that's been there and done it, like Michael Phelps, work with a mentor and make a plan. Someone that believes in you, not someone that's going to tell you that your plan's rubbish, or that you can't achieve it. So be careful, be selective, and formulate a plan. And if you can't find someone, do it by yourself. Copy someone like Michael Phelps that's been there and done it to be successful. So that's going to give you 30% more chance than if you just don't do anything at all. So are you turning up? Let's say you do sport at the minute. Are you just turning up and training, taking it one game at a time, one match at a time? Well, that's okay. You can focus on one match at a time. But are you really making a plan for the future of who you want to be, who you want to become, the success you want to achieve, the milestones you want to hit, the legacy you want to leave? If you don't want any of that, if you just enjoy going from match to match, game to game, that's okay. Just go out and have fun. Nothing wrong with that. That's a goal in itself. But if you want to achieve things, sport's measured. There's goals, there's points, there's touchdowns, there's baskets, there's sets to win, tournaments, goals to hit. If you want to do any of that, write it down. And also write down, just as an added incentive, write down why you want it. Why do you want that? What makes you feel good about that? What's your passion behind that? What's your desire? Write that down too. So you're commanding and instructing your subconscious mind exactly what you want, why you want it, because you're adding feeling and emotion into it. And that fires up your internal drive. That sets off that dopamine, the serotonin, makes you feel alive. You want meaning and purpose. I always talk about meaning and purpose. What drags you to bed when it's tough, when it's raining outside, when you don't feel well, when you have aches and pains, when you're tired. What is it that drags you to bed and gets you into practice when other people are staying in bed? You feel like you're not having fun, you feel like you're missing out. Your friends are going and having more social gatherings than you. So what is it? What's the difference? Where are you finding this tenacity from to become a champion? So have a blueprint to become a champion. And the blueprint is, you write it down. It's not just words. Put feeling into it, emotion, detail. Don't just write it down and put it away. Look at it often. Show your mind this is what you want and why you want it. So look at it a lot. It's your blueprint. Talk it, breathe it, become it. Act in a way that is, if you think about the champion that you want to become through your blueprint, start acting that way now. Don't be say something like, I'll be like Rafael Nadal or Novak Djokovic or Michael Jordan or Lionel Messi. I'll act like them when I become like them. You need to act like them now. When they were champions, how did they act? How did they train? How did they eat? What was their mental preparation? What did they sacrifice to get where they want to be? Did they write their goals down? Did they live it and breathe it? Did they have a blueprint? Did they leave a legacy? Are they in the process of leaving a legacy? So read their autobiographies, get a highlighter out, and success leaves clues. You find a lot of clues in there. Even from they were very young, there's clues, and there'll be a blueprint on how to succeed. So thanks for watching. Watch the next video here. They'll follow in this series. And please subscribe. It's a lot of help to me. And thanks for watching.